When Guardians of the Galaxy first came out, it surprised and delighted me. It was definitely my favorite Marvel movie at the time, but if it came out today, who could play these roles? Sure, yes, Chris Pratt and company could definitely do these roles even 10 years later, so let's look at this as more of a multiversal thing, where others could have been chosen for this role, and who could potentially be these characters within the multiverse. And since I've already tackled the main Avengers, it's only fitting to do the Guardians now. So today we're looking at the 5 major team members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But before we get started, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Surfshark. Now, Surfshark is a VPN that allows you to protect your data from it being breached, which is great. But if I'm being honest, I mainly use it to change my IP address so I can watch things that aren't available in my country. Like if you live in the States and you want to revisit some of those classic MCU films on Netflix, well, sorry, you're out of luck. Or you can change your IP address to Canada and watch the MCU without paying for Disney+. And the great thing about Surfshark is it allows unlimited devices. So use promo code BrianSeeker to get 83% off and 3 months extra free. So check the link in the description below for more details. As for the castings, we are looking at StarLord, Gamora, Rocket, Groot, and Drax. So let's recast the Guardians of the Galaxy for today. First up, we have StarLord. Now, Chris Pratt, when he first hit the screen, I thought it was incredible. I couldn't imagine another taking on this role. Between him and Parks and Rec, now this, it was one of my favorite actors emerging. Now, however, I don't feel the same way. Maybe it's just overexposure, or maybe his personal life just kind of bleeding in. But Chris Pratt in a movie is no longer a draw for me. It's rather the opposite. Now, don't get me wrong, I think he still works as StarLord, but I feel like we could get someone with a little bit more depth. Someone who could really push the character just past that goofy and help him grow. Of course, that cocky attitude with the humor is what we need here, but he has that little bit of heart that shines through. That persona and that feel is perfect for Glenn Howerton. He's a little bit older now, but back when they made Guardians of the Galaxy, I hate to say it, he might be a better choice than Pratt. He's got that cocky know-it-all attitude, but he definitely has that goofy nature. And honestly, he looks a lot more like the comic book counterpart than Pratt. He's shown it in Sunny as well as AP Bio that he has that heart and that confidence, and I think he'd do amazing here.
I'm not. Really? Really? So I'm over here trying to save my job, and you just got pizza all over my dead mom's turtleneck. This is too far, too far. We're done. Give me these pizzas.
Whoa! To a new level.
It's cathartic. Yeah. It really is cathartic.
So Glenn Howerton as StarLord. Next up, we have Gamora. Now, don't get me wrong, Zoe Saldana does great in this role, but I never really bought into her being a bad person and really transforming and really struggling with those past actions of her. If I'm gonna recast it, I need someone with that almost evil energy that's conflicted, but for personal reasons. She finds her way through the team, but she starts off with that darker energy. Now, it's important we get someone who obviously has the physicality in this role as well, because Gamora is a trained killer. And although we see little hints of that, Zoe, in my opinion, has always felt a little bit more clunky, and I feel like the movies could have dived a little bit deeper in that sense. I went with Sofia Boutella. I mean, she's acrobatic, I can see her working well with Glenn Howerton, and she definitely has this sexiness and this vibe to her that actually makes her feel like she's a daughter of Thanos. I think that darker take would help sell her backstory, as well as her growth with the character.
Why the gun, Delphine?
You're not as well disguised as you may think. I know who you are. You're Lorraine Broughton, MI6, and you're here because of the death of Gascoigne.
So Sofia Boutella as Gamora. Next up, let's tackle the CG characters. Now, James Gunn once said that the movie lives or dies with Rocket. If Rocket doesn't work, the whole movie fails. But God, did he ever work. Bradley Cooper's voice and energy for this is just something that's raw, unapologetic, and feels right for this character. Bill Burr is my choice here. His voice has that crazy inflection that leans well into Rocket, but with his acting skills, he could probably do a little bit of motion capture here as well. I think he's got that perfect raw griminess, and most importantly, not backing down vibe. He says whatever he wants. And honestly, that's kind of the voice I heard for the character whenever I saw him in the comics. Like, just listen to him in his verbal lashings in F is for Family. Close your eyes and you'll just hear a little bit of Rocket shining through.
If you don't get her a doctor right now, but for all these other low-life pieces of shit, then I will follow you to whatever home for dried up old hags you live in, slap the cat food out of your mouth, grab you by your camel hump, and put you through that f***ing wall!
He's just got that aggression that's true to life that you just can't teach. So Bill Burr as Rocket Raccoon. As for Groot, I mean, Vin Diesel, it's hard to do better than that. His voice is perfect, and surprisingly, he even voiced Baby Groot as well. Now, of course we do need that same kind of roughness, but something that has soul in the voice. There's that little bit of playfulness that comes with Groot. It's important to note that Rocket had motion capture done by Sean Gunn on set. Groot, however, just pretty much a stand-in for eyeline. So necessarily we don't need a big actor here. That's why I lent into voice actors. And one I could definitely see in this role is Kevin Michael Richardson. I mean, he's got that deep baritone voice to him.
Junior's pretty high to do because this is my natural speaking voice, and Junior's like way up there, so.
But he also has a sense of fun and kind and lightheartedness with many of his characters. I can see him doing the transition to a baby, even teenage Groot, which all could work incredibly well. Not only does he have the voice here, but I think he would make a completely separate, organic voice for Groot.
True mind can weather all the lies and illusions without being lost. Since beginningless time, darkness thrives in the void, but always yields to purifying light.
So Kevin Michael Richardson as Groot. Lastly, we have Drax, kind of the standout of the bunch in my eyes. Dave Bautista was definitely the one that had me guessing when he was first cast. It seems strange to say it now, but before Guardians, he was definitely not known for his acting skills. But through the film, he showed his comedic timing, his deadpan humor, and something that I don't really know if we can improve upon. I know Jason Momoa originally turned down this role, and I just can't see what the hell that would look like. The only person I can even think of doing a halfway decent job in this role who has that physicality and that size is John Cena. Now, John Cena has come a long way. I was never a big fan of his, and when he first tried his hand at acting, I definitely was not a fan. But he's shown in time that he's improved on his comedic timing, that ridiculous nature, and he's just got the perfect physicality for this role.
Oh, no, maybe not. They're best friends. They're just saying, like, you're okay with me. You're okay to me. You're okay
You say that to your friends? Whenever I see my friends, I go, hey, you're okay with
No,
me.
don't use these.
I think he's grown a lot as an actor. Like, just look at the scene with Drax laughing. I can just see John Cena doing this perfectly.
See, you just told everyone your deepest, darkest secret.
And if he didn't take on Peacemaker, I think this would have been the role for him. And even in Peacemaker, I can kind of see what a little bit of his flavor of Drax would have been. Maybe higher energy, but just a different type of dumb. So John Cena as Drax. So what do you think of my cast of the Guardians of the Galaxy? Do you agree with them? Would you change it up at all? Would you be interested to see this even in the multiverse? Let me know in the comments below. As well as next episode, we're going to be getting to those people in association with the Guardians of the Galaxy, meaning Yondu, Nebula, even Ronan the Accuser. But beyond that, who would you like to see? Maybe you're a massive Taserface fan and you want to see him recast. Let me know in the comments below. As well as what franchise should I move on to next? I've been kind of making my way through Marvel, but I'm slowly done with that. Should it be Disney? Something completely different like Nintendo? Other than that though, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.